This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thanks for joining us here on Monday. Woo. Anyways, real quick, for those of you who have been on the live stream real quick, and kind of heard my voice right as soon as we kind of cut in to the local news live programming there. For those of you, again, watching on the live stream, you heard a mic check at the very top of the essentially, again, right when we cut in, which was around always like 10:25, 10:26, about 5 minutes ago. You probably heard my voice say mic check. Well, I've been just making sure that our mics have been working, obviously here on the stream. Just some minor issues to make sure that all the buttons are correctly pressed to make sure the volume from this microphone gets into your ear. They're off your device that you're listening to right now, essentially. So, thankfully, mic check worked. We also have to do that at the top of the order so that it can go through the stream, and we have our own stream running on here on the side. I'm not sure if you heard that. We have our own little device, our own little iPad here just off to the left side of the camera behind the scenes, which is basically just looking on the live stream to make sure everything, such as audio, works. And sure enough, mic check does. So glad I'm not talking. All this is in essence to basically say I'm glad I'm not talking to myself for an entire 30 minutes. Instead of, by the way, I didn't say any words there, just to not confuse you. So anyways, let's get into the first weather breakdown. We're talking heat for this work week. That's the biggest thing that we've got on our minds here on the local forecast. We are talking lots of summer heat and the hottest work week of the year so far coming to the region here for this week in the middle of May. So guess what? I have a date with the pool later this week. That is for certain. Today, not so much. It doesn't really get hot today, but again, we're going to tell you when that heat is exactly building into the ArkLaTex a little later on this week coming up. In addition to that, we're also going to be checking over our river levels. Again, just some of the comments that keep coming into, the newsroom, to our Facebook feeds from some of you guys kind of are just looking at some of those high river levels. And so we're keeping you first alert on a stream like this where we actually have the chance to look at the river levels thoroughly and make sure they are where they need to be and make sure nothing is overflowing or flooded out, period, around the ArkLaTex. So, again, it's something of which we can do in the live stream here on First Alert with a Breakdown that we just don't have time to get to in the shows at all. So that's essentially one of the reasons why we have First Alert with a Breakdown, First Alert Weather Days when they come in, obviously answering your guys' questions. If you have any questions, YouTube stream. You go to youtube.com, click on or search up KSLA News 12. Live stream should be there, and all you have to do is type your question in the chat box, and it comes up on my computer over here, and I can answer the questions live about anything on the forecast, just so you know. So let's get into that said forecast. So we're going to talk about the forecast first, then we'll get to the river levels here in just a little bit. So let's get a look outside. It's kind of the same look that we've been hanging around with for much of the weekend. Lots of cloud cover around. I will say there still was and still is to some degree some sunlight coming on through. It was a beautiful sunrise, at least, out for this morning. But again, we're facing a good amount of cloud cover here for the rest of the day today, frankly, because we still have this kind of gloomy, tiny, misty atmosphere in place. It's giving us a few light rain showers around the ArkLaTex again for your Monday. But overall, the best thing to learn about this atmosphere is it's going to be in place only for one more day today before change is in store for tomorrow. There's going to be a big change between today and tomorrow that we're going to be watching out for on this forecast moving along. So, live looking at Texarkana, we're getting some sunlight in and around there, actually. Still some partly cloudy skies and plenty of them around that region, but still, regardless, a good amount of moisture, pleasant around the ArkLaTex. All right, so today, we got some light rain showers again roaming the ArkLaTex. That's kind of what I've been getting at here as a part of our main weather headline for today alone. Now, that's probably the main headline for today, because after today, we fully dry things out for tomorrow. Finally, a full day of dry conditions. First time we get to say that for quite some time. And that trend goes on at least for the next couple of days, which is good. Meanwhile, the main trend, especially for the long-term period that I'm watching out for headline-wise, is dealing with the temperatures. We're warming up here for the day today, and I think that's mainly because I think we'll see a little more sunshine out from what we saw yesterday. If you remember yesterday, an unusual cool day. There, let's just go with that. I was trying to combine unusual with like a bull, like it just a rare day to find out. Simple stated. Let's keep it simple, Evan. Thank you. Anyways, a rare day around the ArkLaTex where you found a May afternoon in the 60s. That was quite interesting. I actually pulled out a jacket yesterday to, I'm going to be honest, celebrate the occasion because of what's coming ahead. Because we have warm temperatures back in store here for today, and that's kind of a stepping stone to lead us into the rest of the work week, which is going to be hot. Again, hottest temperatures of the year, they're coming this week, and that is going to be likely around the ArkLaTex. We're going to talk about why in just a little bit. But again, today's atmosphere does kind of, I wouldn't say require you to take out the umbrella. Again, if any rain showers hit today, I'm not expecting them to be severe at all, which at least is good news on that front. So, temperatures, meanwhile, right around 70 degrees in Shreveport, 69 for Texarkana, 68 in Natchitoches, 70 in DeQueen. Nice and comfortable, if anything, maybe a touch cool, but it's definitely going to change as we continue to warm things up into the afternoon. We're continuing to keep you first alert, again, about these stray showers, which are continuing to roam the ArkLaTex. This started in the region about 2 hours ago, moving from central Arkansas into southwestern Arkansas right now. Again, this is the stray shower that we have out. If you look at the rest of the region, before I get into that cell right now, if you look at the rest of the region, we're completely dry in the southern half of the ArkLaTex, and most of the northern half, especially northeast Texas, is also completely dry. But then we're looking at this one cell, which is giving us a little pocket of heavy rain, actually. The cell's moving southward, just moved by I-30 a little while ago, and is now looking to crash on Garland. Looks like this is just moving, just missing Texarkana just off to the east side. And again, it's moving towards Garland right now, and this is continuing to move southward through Lafayette County there. And this could, so if it maintains its strength, it could eventually go down southward and continue to chug along and eventually reach Shreveport. Now, this is moving at a slow pace. This is a 30-minute loop on the first alert Doppler radar. It doesn't look like it moves by that much, so we'll keep you first alert throughout the rest of the day on that radar coverage. The point is we have storms moving essentially due north to due south because of the orientation of our atmosphere. This is impressive. I want you to look at this full system. We're going to talk about rain first, then we'll get to the temperatures here in just a little bit, because let's talk about just the rest of the rain for today and load. And that belongs to this low pressure system, which has been stuck in place for the past 5 days. I'm going to be honest with you. It has been stubborn. It has been stuck. It's what we call a cutoff low. And what a cutoff low is, it is cut off from the rest of the circulation of Earth's atmosphere. And essentially, when you're cut off from the rest of the circulation, that means you're not moving. You are kind of stuck and still in place while the rest of the atmosphere and the rest of the low-pressure systems and high-pressure systems continue to kind of regularly move across the region here. So this has been, again, as I said, stuck in place for the past 3 to 4 days, dumping lots of rain on top of areas like Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, and to a certain degree us, because of how powerful this low-pressure system is. This this is huge. Usually we just get lots of storms on the east side of the system, and that's it. And to be fair, we are still getting lots of storms on the east side of the system. Again, if you look at Florida, look at Georgia and the Carolinas closely, still lots of rain that's embedded within this low-pressure system. But the strength of the system is kind of determined by how far this moisture really moves up further north and further west. And it is rare to honestly find a system to where you rotate all this moisture all the way to the west side. And that's where we are in the ArkLaTex. If you look at the west side of this low-pressure system, we're getting all that moisture rotated into areas around the ArkLaTex from the north and from the west. So that little stray shower that's moving through Lafayette County, that came from central Arkansas. And it's, again, from the direction of counterclockwise flow, the low pressure system, it's rotating north to south, essentially, in through the ArkLaTex here through the day today. So we got one more day with this low pressure system before it finally moves. We'll get into that in just a little bit because that's going to mainly affect the temperatures. All right, so for our future track, again, just spotty cells here for the rest of the day today. 1:30, 2 o'clock, even into the afternoon commute. Yeah, just watching out for a few little spotty storms that could hinder you on your way home. We're not watching out for any severe weather risk here for the rest of the day today, which is at least good on that front. But let's get to Monday because that brings some excitement back into the ArkLaTex. Essentially, we're done with the storms once we reach tonight, and then tomorrow, hey, nice beautiful sunshine working in. We could get some cloud cover back in here to Wednesday, but overall, we are dry, looking to be dry most likely for the next 3 days after today. Long-range future track will showcase that. Again, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday looking real nice. Then we got some storms starting to pop off, and then I will say weather models have been in disagreement on when exactly the storms come back, but it's looking to be sometime around late this week. It could start on Friday, and unfortunately, long-term future track here is showcasing maybe more storms. Unfortunately, head back into the ArkLaTex for next weekend as well. So if you're making any weekend plans already for next weekend, like I am, maybe watch out for storms being a part of that. So watch out. All right, so let's get into the temperatures now because, again, this is the first real week where we're going to be building in lots of heat, lots of it. Low pressure system, as we aforementioned, that's been stuck here for the past 5 days, but it's finally moving out of here tomorrow. And in the process of it doing that, we're building in a high pressure system out of the south and west. In fact, that high pressure system is helping to kick out and finally move that low pressure system away. So when the high pressure system comes on in, it not only dries us up, but if you notice with those red lines, we're bringing in a hot jet stream. This is going to be hot desert air coming out of the southwest from Mexico, from further into Texas. That's going to be sliding up into the ArkLaTex here over the course of the work week. And we're looking at sustained hot temperatures at least through this weekend. So once it starts, which is going to start on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll go ahead and give you that hint then. It's going to start on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's going to be stuck here, at least for a solid, looks like 7 days or so, before even looking to alter the temperatures after that, because the high pressure system is going to be stuck in place, not only giving us hot temperatures from the south and west, but it will also be clearing out of skies. Again, little to no rain expected here over the next several days, at least until Friday. Now, let's get into the numbers of just how hot we'll get. Highs today right around 80 degrees, warming up from yesterday, but definitely not too toasty. Then you get into tomorrow morning, starting off in the lower 60s. Then we kick on the afterburners. Highs up to almost 90 for Tuesday afternoon. And then by Wednesday, one of the hottest days of that entire stretch looking to come up here. Highs are in the mid-90s here all across the ArkLaTex. For those of you traveling, just so you know, we're expecting triple digits for actual temperatures in areas like Dallas, Austin, and Houston. Dallas and Austin, essentially, for Wednesday. So some of that heat essentially just rolling into eastern Texas. Looks like eastern Texas might be slightly hotter than the rest of the region, but overall most of us are reaching highs still regardless in the mid-90s there for Wednesday afternoon. Oh, man, it is going to be a toasty one. And again, it looks to continue into next week, too. So highs again tomorrow, right around 90 degrees. One other thing I want to get to is the feels-like temperature, because not only is it 95 for the actual temperature, but this looks to carry a good heat indice with it as well, which essentially is our feels-like temperature, which is, yes, going to be right around 100 degrees here in just a matter of 2 days. You see it goes from 77, feels like 77 today, up to 100 degrees in a matter of 2 days. So we really turn on the heat again across the ArkLaTex over the next several days. Thursday and Friday, technically, yes, the temperatures drop just a touch, but that's all it is, just a touch. Overall, highs are expected in the 90s for the most part, all the way into the weekend ahead. We're going to look at that now on the 7-day forecast. Again, highs, once they get into the lower 90s tomorrow, they're stuck in the lower 90s all the way through the weekend. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Excuse me. Whoops, wrong little click there. Wanted you to look at the full 7-day forecast here. There we go. So not only do we heat things up around here, but look at the morning lows. Those will not be low at all. Temperatures in the 60s for one more morning tomorrow morning, before even our morning lows are going to be starting off in the mid-70s here for the foreseeable future, especially once we get into Thursday morning. So, yeah, watch out for that. I think the only reason that will maybe cool us off a little bit between Wednesday and the rest of the 7-day forecast is that cloud cover returning, and that's really it. But again, besides that, regardless, it looks like once summer heat's here, it's here for good. Just 20%. As for the rain, last thing I want to go over here: 20% chance of a rain shower, a stray rain shower again here for the rest of today. Once we get that last little system out here for the rest of today, nice sunshine awaits us here for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, aplenty before little chances for Friday and Saturday and Sunday come on in. I'm expecting those rain chances to either grow or drop off completely. That 20% rain chance is kind of just there for a little uncertainty as to when the storms are exactly going to be happening and coming back into the ArkLaTex. We'll keep you first alert about that, obviously, the closer we get into that time frame, but that's what it's looking like for now. Lots of heat. Lots of heat. That's the big talk around town. As I said, I think this is a good weekend to get back in the pool. Memorial Day weekend is two weekends away, but hey, I mean, once you head into May, it's pretty much full-on pool season once you hit into the ArkLaTex. The only reason I didn't say April is because April you usually still get those cooler morning temperatures occasionally, where we get like mornings down to the 40s and lower 50s. We did have that occasionally last month, which cools down that water quite a bit. But yeah, now we're good. Now that's the point. Now we're good in the summer season. All right, when we come back, we're going to be taking a look at those river flood. I wouldn't say river flood warnings. Again, our river levels are quite high for us around the ArkLaTex. We'll try to reassure you after this. Most levels are looking pretty good. There are some that are looking a little, I wouldn't say worrisome, but a little higher certainly than others, that are causing officials to put those areas in a little more of a flood risk. We'll kind of look at the whole scenario, look at all of our different rivers, and examine it thoroughly coming up after this. Welcome on back into the first look with a breakdown. Again, thanks for joining us, always, for the local forecast thoroughly. Anyways, moving on into the exclusive content, which is us taking a look at our river levels all around the ArkLaTex. And all in all, things look fine. Things look fine. I wouldn't say they look great. I wouldn't say they look bad at all. Let me just show you the picture, okay? Let me see it for yourself. So essentially, this is the website you can look at. Just so you know, this is accessible to anybody. But I pulled this up, and this is essentially kind of our flood map database here for our rivers all around the ArkLaTex. Really cool interactive tool brought to us by the National Weather Service, which always provides us with great tools such as these. So I know what you're wondering. I'm looking at a bunch of different colors, Evan. What do they mean? So essentially, anywhere there's a dot, period, a dot, a square, that kind of thing, it kind of just indicates that's where a gauge is. A gauge period to monitor specific, just to monitor flood risk, flood levels, river levels, that kind of thing, in any of our rivers and lakes all across the ArkLaTex. Now, with the color, green means good. Green means essentially there's no issues in this area. All is running according to normal, and that's across, I guess, most areas around Texarkana, northern half of the ArkLaTex, which is running good. Areas along I-20, central part of the ArkLaTex, maybe a little more worrisome. Before we click on other colors, and let me tell you about that, let me just click on a random area, which for this one is the Big Cypress Creek, right at Mooringsport and Caddo Lake. That's running right according to normal, and of course you can't see that because my head is blocking it. Give me just a moment. There, now you can see the full thing. So essentially, this is the river level where my mouse is right here. This little blue, and the blue is the observed level. The purple is exactly where it's forecasted and where it's expected to go, which is not changing, which is good. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. But then when you look at other colors, such as the yellow, which the yellow, one of the most important areas, which is the Red River at Shreveport. Yellow means we are under an action stage for the Red River at Shreveport here. What action phase means is kind of just getting ready to take action. Doesn't mean we're necessarily doing anything. We don't usually do anything when it comes to these flood stages or worry about them until they get up into the area of this orange, red, and purple, which indicates minor flood stages. The action stage is to take action, I guess, to prevent these stages from happening, from it, overflowing essentially just a little bit or much more massively to a certain extent. So our water level is a little high, especially because it's in the action stage right now, and it looks like it's peaked, which is good news. It peaked over the weekend, especially on Saturday and Sunday, but now, especially today, it looks like it's going to take good strides, and for the rest of the work week, it's going to take good strides to slowly drop here over the next couple of days to where we're no longer even in the action phase anymore, which is good. So it looks like the Red River is going to be doing just fine. So other areas, such as the Bayou there, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but that is South Bossier Parish, the Bayou down there, south of Minden, I believe. The only other worry we have, just so you know, all of our areas, besides the two areas that I just mentioned there in the yellow, which are in the action stage, everybody else is doing pretty fine here for the most part. Red River near DeKalb, also doing just great and fine and dandy. The only issue that we have apparently seems to, I guess we have two. We have this one, which is the Bayou near Chirino. I hope I'm saying that right. We are under a little, I believe this is the minor. Yeah, it's a minor flood stage here in this area, but thankfully over the weekend we've noticed and observed, I guess, about 2 feet in a drop of the water levels, which is great. And it's forecasted to drop even more over the next couple of days, which is even better. So it looks like that area will be just fine as well. The other area that we seem to be concerned about is near Spring Hill, the bayou near there, which is under a minor flood stage as well. And thankfully, just like the other ones, it is expected to go down. And the thing that's going to help that out as well, again, is the weather itself, which will give us some nice dry conditions here over the next 3 days after today. Even today, today's measurable rainfall, if it does happen, is pretty much going to be non-existent, trace amounts, so to speak. We're not expecting any huge amounts of measurable rainfall here from today alone. So again, the point of looking at this is that all of our rivers seem to be dropping. The forecast calls for them to drop, which is fantastic news. So even though the rivers are running high, especially if you kind of took some good walks out and saw that over the weekend, they are expected to drop here within the next week or so, which is exactly what we want to do. So a surplus in rain, I believe we're well over our usual average rainfall total around the ArkLaTex, which is at least keeping us out of drought. But again, you don't want to be on the other side of that equation to where we run into, say, flood issues. There was some outside of the ArkLaTex, further upstream on the Red River between Texas and Oklahoma on the Lake Texoma. But it looks like that's been resolved too, and that's getting taken care of, which is good to hear. So again, we're doing fine on that front. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about a little more about the heat in store, what we have for then. Also, we're going to be taking a look at something kind of outside of the, I would say outside of the weather realm, but outside of the current radar, outside of just the current forecast around. We're taking a look at some meteorology positions. One of the things I realize I want to use this platform for, not frequently, but rarely we still want to do this, is in case people are interested in weather, because I feel like some of you who listen on the live stream on First Look Weather Breakdown always just a lot more intrigued on the weather front of things, and you want more info than just what's given to you on your typical news show. So if you're more intrigued about weather and kind of seeing what else you can do, seeing how else you can help, that kind of thing, we do want to give you kind of the info to help you out in case you're thinking about becoming a weather spotter. We've talked about that before on this First Look Weather Breakdown. Or in the case of what I'm talking about tomorrow, there are different meteorologist types than myself. I'm what they call an on-camera meteorologist. I think that's simply stated. I'm on your camera. I'm a man who speaks of weather. Amazing, right? Anyways, the point is there's other meteorologists. There's the people at the National Weather Service. They're different people that you don't even usually see them on camera. They're just kind of, the NWS who hide behind, I won't say hide, but they're behind the scenes. They do things a lot more behind their computer. And they give us the forecast, and we help them relay out the information to you guys with kind of just a friendly basis on camera. But there's other meteorologist types than that. We're going to go over that tomorrow and see if, if anything sparks your interest, and see if there's anything, kind of any sector of meteorology or weather that you're interested by or want to go into. So yeah, we'll take like a brief little cutoff away from the current weather and just talk about current weather, just weather positions, period. What positions and careers are there in weather? So, a little intriguing. I'm kind of just going to go into a monologue about that tomorrow, so stay tuned. That'll be tomorrow at 10:30 Tuesday. I will be your host for you then. Last thing I want to go over is CJ. I know some of you, especially last week, CJ was not on the Weather Podcast. It's because his schedule did not work him out to be on the podcast. So I know we've been working here at KSLA News 12 to get you both me and CJ Cartledge as kind of co-hosts, kind of altering when we host. He will be on later on this week. We fully settled the schedule on this morning, believe it or not, and he will be on Thursday and Friday if you were just looking forward to him being back here at the First Look Weather Breakdown. He will be your host for Thursday and Friday's shows. I will be your host for the middle first half, the rest of the first half of the week, essentially. I'll be your host for today, obviously. I'm about to say goodbye, but for the rest of the next 2 minutes, I'll be your host. I'll be the host as well for tomorrow's episodes where we'll go over careers for weather, and I will also host your Wednesday show as well coming on up. All right, that's it for First Look with a Breakdown. I will see you again tomorrow where we'll talk weather careers. You have a great rest of your day. Prepare for the heat. Embrace it. I know several of you are looking forward to summer being back here in the ArkLaTex, and it's surely going to be felt this week. Good luck, especially if you're working outside. Stay cool. Stay frosty. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, 10:30. Be there, be square. Most importantly, be weather aware. Have a great rest of your Monday.